It was a freezing night in Arizona. The kind of night where even the wind sounded like whispers from another world. Daniel had been driving for almost 6 hours on the empty Route 66 highway. The road stretched endlessly through the desert, surrounded by darkness on all sides. His car headlights were the only source of light cutting through the black silence. It was 1:47 a.m. The radio suddenly filled with static. Daniel tapped it twice, annoyed, but the sound only became stranger, almost like someone was trying to speak through the noise. Then the radio went silent. Completely silent. That was when he saw her. A woman in a red dress standing alone on the side of the road. She wasn't moving. Not even an inch. Her long black hair covered half of her face, and the moonlight made her skin look unnaturally pale. Daniel slowed the car. No one should be standing alone in the middle of the Arizona desert at this hour. He rolled down the window. "Are you okay?" he asked. The woman slowly lifted her face. Her lips barely moved as she whispered, "Please take me to the motel ahead." Her voice was cold. Not emotionally cold, physically cold. The moment she stepped into the passenger seat, Daniel felt the temperature inside the car drop. His breath became visible. The windows started fogging from inside. Daniel tried to ignore the fear rising in his chest. Maybe she had been outside for too long. Maybe that was all. The road ahead remained empty. For several minutes, neither of them spoke. Only the sound of the engine and the whispering desert wind. Then Daniel noticed something strange. He couldn't hear her breathing. Not a single breath. Slowly, he turned his eyes toward the passenger seat. She was staring straight ahead. Perfectly still. No blinking. No movement. Just silence. A mile later, the GPS screen flickered. A location suddenly appeared. Desert Rose Motel, 0.5 miles. Daniel frowned. He never entered that location. The woman softly said, "We're close."
Her voice sounded different now. Deeper. As if two voices were speaking at once. The motel finally appeared in the darkness. An old broken building with half its neon sign dead. The word motel flickered weakly in red light. It looked abandoned for years. Daniel slowed the car. The moment he looked toward the passenger seat, it was empty. His heart nearly stopped. The door was still locked. No sound. No movement. No one could have left. A sudden knock hit the rear window. Daniel froze. Slowly, he looked in the mirror. The woman was standing behind the car. Her face was now fully visible. Her eyes were completely black. A dark smile spread across her pale face. Then she pointed toward the motel. The front door of the motel slowly opened by itself. Daniel should have driven away. Every instinct in his body screamed at him to leave. But something felt wrong. As if an invisible force was pulling him toward the building. He stepped out of the car. The desert air was freezing. The motel door creaked open wider. Inside, the hallway was dark and filled with dust. Old broken frames hung on the walls. Room numbers were barely visible. At the end of the corridor, one room door stood slightly open. Room 6. From inside came the sound of a woman crying. Daniel's legs trembled, but he moved closer. The crying suddenly stopped. He pushed the door open. Inside the room, the wallpaper was torn, furniture broken, and the smell of something rotten filled the air. Then he saw it. On the dusty mirror, words were written in fresh red liquid. "Help me find my killer." Daniel stumbled backward. Suddenly the bathroom door slammed shut. A violent scream echoed from inside. The lights above flickered wildly. Daniel grabbed the bathroom handle and pulled it open. Inside the bathtub lay the ghostly woman in the red dress, covered in blood. Her eyes slowly opened. This time they looked normal. Tears rolled down her face. She whispered. He still comes here every night. Footsteps echoed from the hallway. Heavy. Slow. Coming closer. Daniel turned toward the door. A tall shadow stood outside the room. A man holding a rusted knife. His face hidden in darkness. The ghost woman suddenly screamed. "Run!" Daniel sprinted through the hallway. The footsteps chased him. The motel lights exploded one by one behind him. Glass shattered. Doors slammed shut. The killer's shadow moved faster than humanly possible. Daniel burst outside and jumped into his car. The engine refused to start. The shadow appeared in front of the windshield. Knife raised. Then suddenly, the ghost woman appeared between Daniel and the shadow. The entire motel shook violently. A scream tore through the desert night. The shadow disappeared into darkness. The motel lights went dead. Complete silence. Daniel finally managed to start the car and sped away. The next morning, police searched the abandoned motel. In room 6, they found records of an unsolved murder from 2016. A woman in a red dress had been killed there. Her killer was never found. But the most terrifying part, the police officer showed Daniel an old photograph. It was the same woman he had picked up. And behind her in the motel mirror stood the same tall shadow holding a knife. Even today, truck drivers on Route 66 say that if you pass the old Desert Rose Motel after 2 a.m., you may see a woman in a red dress asking for a ride. And if she asks you to stop at room 6, you should never go inside, because some people say the killer is still waiting there.